I may have buggered up the start, I apologise.
Yeah, it's probably better than I would have ever have done, so hey.
That's from episode 7. That's the advanced preview for everybody.
That's the new theme tune. It's literally just going to be Michael singing a cappella.
Yeah.
That's all Lucas can afford these days.
And it will get 37 million views on YouTube within 2 hours.
Yes, because it will be pirated to YouTube before the end of the first film.
I'm fairly confident.
That's probably about right these days. Someone will have a camcorder hooked up to upload to YouTube.
Yep.
So, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you and all that.
Despite the fact this podcast will be available on a Tuesday.
Yes, May the 5th will be with you doesn't really quite have the same ring to it. And I don't care. We're recording this in the past. We are travelling through time once again, as we do every week, because that is our calling in life, to travel through time. And
we actually film this in the back of a DeLorean, don't we?
Yep.
Fun fact.
Yep. Get a camera in the back of the DeLorean. It's a bit of a squeeze fitting in there with the flux capacitor. Get it up to 88, and whilst we're going all wibbly wobbly timey wimey through the swirly tubes of the TARDIS. What does TARDIS travel through? What do you call that bit?
Time and space.
Is it just? Well, I feel like the tube bit that they go through kind of must. Is that literally just time and space? I feel like it should have like a name.
The corridor of time or something.
Okay, yeah, we filmed this podcast in the corridor of time.
Or in the back by the pantry. The pantry of time.
The pantry of time? Okay.
I've given the doc a bottle of whiskey. He's set for the next 2 hours.
We've got Einstein here.
He's not looking too pleased.
It's up to you to determine whether we're talking about the astrophysicist or the dog.
I think both.
We have Einstein and Einstein here with us today.
They're fighting to the death.
For your entertainment pleasure. The lengths we go to on this podcast.
Yep, we try our best.
Anyway, yes, Star Wars. That's probably... I was going to say it's probably about as much Star Wars we're actually going to get today, but I don't know. It looks like you guys have been playing Star Wars-y things, so we might get some more.
I played a little mini-game of Star Wars just to commemorate the day.
Oh, okay.
I spent an hour on Lego Star Wars. I wanted to see me some Lego Ewoks, and now the need has been set.
And now you need never see Lego Ewoks ever again.
I don't know. It might be next year.
Yeah,
this time, I'll get the itch.
The Lego Ewok cravings come back.
Just thinking, oh, they were so cute, but it's completely implausible.
Well, welcome to Button Mash Podcast. We're going to be talking about Star Wars and Star Wars games for the next 2 hours.
We might, I don't know, talk about something else.
Or we might be talking about video games and video game accessories, as we tend to do. Some of those video games and video game accessories may be Star Wars video games and Star Wars video game accessories.
If we could squeeze it in.
I think we can probably shoehorn it in. We can usually find segues into pretty much anything. Like Barry Chuckle, how's he doing this week?
Let me get the old Google up. Do you want me to do the theme tune?
Did we have a theme tune?
One?
Yeah. Did we have a theme tune?
Yeah, it was the Barry Chuckle update of the week.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember that one. All right.
Evidently you don't.
I mean, at this point, I figure, actually, we probably should, in the show notes, just so I can copy-paste every week, just have a link to Google/search/ is Barry Chuckle dead yet?
We really should be on this.
And we should probably have got we should have got that website set up by now. So go on, what's the status? Have you found him yet?
Give me a drum roll. Barry Chuckle is still amongst us.
Sweet. Congratulations to him.
And his last update on Twitter was the retweet of, just watched the Chuckles of Oz in Oxford Theatre, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't stop laughing. For the record, that's him retweeting something. That's not him talking about his own show.
I would really, really hope he's not just posting critique of his own shows at this point.
I don't know. I would love that.
Barry Chuckle reviews Chuckle Brothers. Good God, this was a terrible episode. What were we doing there? Oh yeah, we needed the money.
It'd be great if he did post a negative review and Paul Chuckle just refused to speak to him for like a week.
Okay, so I'm mostly intrigued by that. Chuckle Brothers of Oz.
It sounds like a panto, but
Yeah.
like, our last resort, we couldn't get anything else in.
Could it be anything other than a panto?
It was a Sheffield theatre. It was near enough to us that we could have got to see that.
And it is happening in May. That's not really panto season.
No, that's a little bit out of panto season. Oh God, it is exactly what you think it is. Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow are among the familiar characters who join the Wizards, Paul and Barry, for this sensational new version of the familiar Wizard of Oz story.
This sounds amazing.
Oh God, that sounds like a car crash.
I'm going to start a Kickstarter right now to get this on television.
Oh my God.
Screw Downton Abbey. This is where the money is.
So, this wasn't that long ago. We could have gone and seen this. So, this, like I say, Sheffield was March, so it's not that long ago. Well, it was a month ago, I guess. Is it still going? Can we go see this?
Oh, demand! This will be in the West End before you know it.
Broadway musical now. Oh my... What? That's... When you click on... I've clicked on another link to find out what the tour dates are, and the picture at the top of it are Paul and Barry Chuckle dressed as what appear to be kind of space marines.
Oh my God.
Paul's code
Google,
sign...
don't fail me now.
Paul's code sign on his armor is 2ME, and Barry's is 2U.
Oh dear.
Oh God. One of them, Wimborne, was cancelled. They cancelled Wimborne.
Damn it,
so-
Wimborne has no appreciation.
Clearly. Oh, it's running for the next few months. It's running through the year. Oh God, it's running through till end of August. Yeah, there are plenty of opportunities to go see the Chuckle Brothers in tour.
It's sad, but I am up for that.
I probably, yeah, maybe just morbid curiosity. I mean, mid-June, it's in Manchester.
Yeah. Guess we're doing it.
Oh, end of May, it's in Halifax.
Ooh, that's
You get
even
to
closer.
Halifax, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for joining this podcast to hear us discuss our travel plans.
We can bring you cutting edge critique of the Chuckle Brothers of Oz.
That's what people tune in for.
Check back to the Button Mash podcast at the sort of start of June when we will be talking about the Chuckle Brothers of Oz.
Hey, maybe you feel like joining us. Let us know in the comments.
Yes, can we just get a Button Mash tour group to descend on the Chuckles of Oz?
I think we've got to make this happen now.
That's fantastic. Yes, that needs to be a thing.
You guys go on ahead. I'll be right behind you.
We'll be parking the car. It'll take 2 hours.
Alrighty, well that's us up to date on the life and times of Paul and Barry Chuckle, I feel.
Yep. And we're going theatre career.
Yep. Well, I guess the TV show's not bringing in any money anymore, so. Although I suppose they probably run reruns, so they must be getting some kind of royalties from that. But they need something new. They need some new stuff. Never mind that they're both like retirement age. Yeah.
Well, Chuckle Brothers can't say no to the money.
Well, who can? Who can?
They did a rap song with Tiny Temper, for God's sake.
Those men have no shame.
Evidently not.
Anyway, let's talk about video games instead.
Let's drag this back to what we're meant to be here for.
Let's not talk about aging children's TV celebrities and the drain their careers are going down.
Ooh, that's a libel. The views of the Button Mash host.
It's opinion. It's opinion. Libel would be if I were to say Paul and Barry Chuckle were. Let's not go that way.
It's not happening.
No. Alright. Video games! What you been playing, guys? What you been doing? What's new in the world of video games for you guys? Don't all shout at once.
Lots of disappointment this week. So much disappointment.
Disappointment. Go on, disappoint us then.
Go on then. Well,
Okay, I've built myself up. I've mentally geared myself to think that Will is going to tell us about some amazing games. Okay.
I don't know.
We've
got this in the news, but I kind of feel like we're talking about it in the games.
All right. Well, do you? I presume you're talking about. Go on.
Reverse Side.
Yes.
It
Game that
finally
ruined my life.
By the way, can I say I was right?
Yeah.
Last week when I insisted it was definitely releasing, it did.
You say that.
I may have insisted that every week for the last 6 months, but nonetheless, in this particular instance, I was right.
You weren't insisting it when we were betting on it.
Well, no. Okay.
Yeah, I suppose you could have won on a technicality if we had bet at all. However, it hasn't actually released. You can pay for it. Not even in a kind of pre-order sense. You can pay for it. It will give you sod all in return.
It's the game version of a hobo, really.
You've mentioned this. I haven't actually had a chance to check this out, so I'm gonna have to look at this myself on Steam, like now, I think. But go on, tell us the story of Reverse Side then.
The story of Reverse Side. I was so happy. I only just noticed that it was released today. It was very, very quiet. I didn't catch it at all, but apparently it's been out for a few days. And I should have really checked the discussions and the support pages before I even...
It's that excitement.
I was just so curious. I have to play this game. I have to. You have to let me play this game.
Well, the scheduled release date was Friday, was it not? I thought it was kind of
first, I think.
Yeah.
But alas, there's no install button. There's no date as to when it will actually be out. No feedback from the devs. It's just silence, apart from the outrage of everybody who bought it and then had to get a refund. You can actually get a refund, which is nice.
Can I make a speculation here?
Go on.
Because I'm looking at the store page, and the store page is missing like a lot of things. I mean, for starters, it doesn't actually list the release date on it.
Nope.
And like I don't. It just feels like what it feels like to me is they forgot to push it back. It was scheduled to release on Friday, but whoever's job it is at REEW Games forgot to press the
full-time job.
Yeah. Whoever's job it is to press the big red button that says delay this game by 3 weeks forgot to press it on Friday. And the game, the timer just ticked down. It was like 1 hour to launch, 30 minutes to launch, 10 minutes to launch. Game's launched, and the moment it hit 0, Valve are like, oh. Well, they said they were going to launch the game now. I guess people will start buying it, but
this is
they haven't
Lost.
But
it is,
yeah. So the timer's hit 0. The game has officially launched because the Steam system says that at this time the game launches. But in order for that to actually be functional, the devs have to have designed, built, made, completed a game, and then uploaded that to Steam to be delivered to the people who buy the game when the game launches. They haven't finished making the game. The game has, quote-unquote, launched, but there's nothing to download because they never actually uploaded a game in the first instance.
Oh, damn you, John Locke. You didn't press that button.
Does this or does this not make sense? I feel like it does.
It does. I hope that's the reason.
But can you unlaunch a game? This is the important question, because what the hell do they do now? This is really interesting now.
I would have just liked to have been like the developer, like checking his bank account going, that's odd.
Well, yeah, it would be jumping up and down, up and down, up and down for people buying it and then getting refunds.
No refunds.
I imagine Steam don't process it into your bank account upon every individual transaction.
No.
Seems weird. However, someone, whoever the hell runs quality control on Valve or customer service, which is, I guess, nobody, must have had an interesting morning going, what the hell's going on here? There are a lot of emails here.
Then he saw the name Reverse Side and went, ah.
Oh, yeah, that thing. All right. Process all refunds.
Yeah, it's not not gone well, really, for them as a whole, has it?
So what do you see? I mean, I guess you bought. Did you get a refund on it now?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So what exactly did you see? Does it show up in your? Does it not show up in your games list at all?
It shows up in my library, but there's no install button at all.
Amazing.
Was there a screenshot?
Huh?
Is there a screenshot or anything?
No, there isn't. I'm not buying it again just because it refunds into the Steam wallet, not my actual bank account.
Oh, that's another issue that we'll get into in the news. We're kind of talking news there, but we're getting into a lot of news very early on today. But
No.
It all segues together.
It all ties together, yeah. Steam aren't great about their refunds like that. I don't actually think, that's not how a refund works, really. You don't refund someone in Mickey Mouse money that can only be used in your ecosystem, but...
Yeah, you do if you're Disney.
Well, yes.
It's okay. I invested in the early access of Warhammer 40k Regicide instead with that money. So
okay.
It worked out for me.
Now... I know that Steam had that thing. They have got the thing in a while back. I can't remember if we actually talked about it on the podcast or not. They sort of implemented rules because European Parliament literally forced them to, which was like European customers, if they want a refund within the first 24 hours of buying the game, if they haven't installed the game, they can get a refund, no trouble, no questions asked, because European law commands that they do that. But then there was like some loophole that actually kind of said Valve doesn't have to do that. So, I don't know how that works.
I don't know. On the refunds page, they were treating it as you've paid for it pre-purchase, and if you bought something pre-purchase, you can just get a refund for it.
Fair enough. Oh, okay.
If it isn't out on launch already, you can get a refund for it.
Because, I'm just thinking, historically speaking, Valve have always been really, really difficult to squeeze a refund out of. They kind of, their policy, as far as anyone's ever been able to make out, is that it's like, they will give one refund per account as kind of like a customer service offering. It's like, look, we're the nice guys, we'll give you one refund just to be nice on this occasion, but if you ever ask for a second one, we're probably going to say no. It's kind of the way it's always been interpreted. So it's always like, oh, you get one game that you can sort of get a refund if it's a complete duffer. And I've got one game that is sat in my library that has been sat in my library since a few years now. Yeah,
the dawn of time.
Yeah, it was a multiplayer game. I can't remember what it was called now. Breach, that was it. Yes, Breach. It was supposed to be a first-person shooter with, like, revolutionary physics. And I never got around to actually playing it. It was one of those games that I was like, yeah, this sounds cool, I'll buy it, and then never played it, as happens so frequently. By the time I got around to thinking, hey, I've got that game, I should check it out, I investigated it. They've taken all the servers down, and you literally cannot play the game anymore. That game, you can't buy it on Steam anymore because... you can't play it like at all. It just doesn't run. I guess you can probably get to the title screen, but I suspect you can't do anything else other than get to the title screen. And I'm pretty sure that's still in my Steam library. And I'm pretty sure I should probably be due a refund for that one.
Might be worth an inquiry.
But at the same time, I'm kind of concerned that it's past the 24-hour period that I'm allowed to get that in.
It's okay, we're in a DeLorean, it's fine.
Oh, right, okay. Although I will say I'm looking through my Steam library here, and I can't for the life of me actually find the bloody thing. So...
Just trying to con Steam out of some money.
I always forget Steam has a search feature, so... Yeah, no, it's still there. Yeah, I've still got... Yeah, Breach is still sat in my Steam library. I still have that game. I can still install it as well, actually. But I think if I click the store page, it'll redirect me to... Yeah, it redirects me straight to the front page of Steam because it doesn't exist on Steam anymore. Go figure. Yeah. So that's another weird one. Steam and refunds they're not good for customer service, but at least this sounds like it's being handled at least reasonably.
Yeah, well, it only took me a few clicks to get the refund, so...
Oh, fair enough.
It didn't faze me too much. Only... cripplingly, emotionally. One
day it will release properly. One day they'll remember to press the button.
I don't know, John. I think I might need a support group for this.
Well, that's what the Steam discussion forums are for.
You need
I mean,
to
literally, the top topic, the pinned topic, does say support on the Steam discussion forums.
So considerate like that.
So that there is a support group. It is I confess it is a Russian support group.
Yes, I know. A lot of the comments are in Russian.
Oh dear.
And a lot of the people commenting don't appear to own the game. None of them have the little icon by their name that says, this person owns this game, so I suspect there were a lot of refunds given.
Yes.
However, I feel like if even one person doesn't bother getting a refund, they've still made money out of them, which is kind of... That's a bit shitty.
It's all very shady.
There is the do you have any suggestions thread. And I really want to go in there and say, release the game. Here's my suggestion. Release it.
At this point, could you not just release it as an early access?
I think that... I'd like to say, I don't know if Steam actually supports the functionality to unrelease a game, so at this point I feel like that's going to be what they would have to do.
I'm going to be keeping an eye on this.
I think we're going to have to. It's too interesting to not keep an eye on.
No.
In the meantime,
it's become an integral part of our lives at this point.
we're going to have to join the support group. Better learn some Russian.
Yes, and learn some Russian. Anyway, any other disappointments of the week?
Solarix was also a big disappointment. It's so difficult to get into. All the textures are beautiful. It's a lovely environment. However, all the keys are mapped between the controller and a keyboard, so you effectively have to use both, unless you remap everything, and there's not enough buttons on the controller to actually use all the functions.
This is one we looked at in the releases last week, is it not?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. I remember looking at this and going, "Ooh, that looks really nice. That looks really pretty."
It looks gorgeous, but it doesn't play well at all.
Yeah.
It plays terribly.
And you can't find a configuration of just keyboard and mouse or just controller that works.
Not particularly, no.
It is showing us very mixed reviews on Steam. Not that it has a lot of reviews, but
no. I suspect keyboard is the better way to go purely because it has more keys. However, mapping all of them into an ergonomic fashion would be very challenging.
Right. I'm kind of looking at the forums to see if anyone else has said that, but I don't know. No one's really complaining about the controls that I can see.
No.
And apparently Kotaku liked it, so...
Oh, maybe it's just me then. Maybe I'm just being really picky.
Maybe you are.
How dare you complain because you can't work out how to play the game?
This is my game. I am all about these kind of games. But no, it's not to be, I don't think.
Well, I am feeling sufficiently disappointed now.
Oh, well, I would like to see... That seems like the sort of thing somebody could fix via, I don't know, config changes or maybe even modding or something.
Is that someone you, John?
No, it's not me, but I just feel like if the main issue with it is just kind of the implementation of the actual controls, there should be some way around that someone somewhere will have figured out.
That's a serious appeal in the comments. If you played Solarix and you know how to configure the controls, please leave us a comment to let us know how.
I feel that's a niche audience, but go on.
One guy, maybe.
One guy will watch this and go, I played Solarix, and I dug around in the INI files, and I found this configuration of controls, and it allowed me to remap all of these things that the game didn't let me normally, and it worked quite nicely, and this is how you do it. So,
brilliant.
Go on, be that guy, be the hero Will needs.
Even if you've never played the game, post something just so I can just stick it to John.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking PC Gaming Wiki might have something on it. It'll be worth checking out at some stage.
It's more the fact that I had to configure all the controls myself. Half of them were mapped to keyboard and half of them were mapped to the controller.
That is very bizarre. I mean, I feel like I can't remember what it was. I seem to recall a game recently that I don't think I played it that way, but I do remember someone else saying, "Oh yeah, I played it with like I played it using the face buttons on the keyboard in one hand, and then face buttons on the gamepad in one hand, and then keyboard in the other hand or something." And I was like, "That's a really weird way to play it, but okay, I can see how that works." But I can't remember what that was now, and that's going to annoy me. So yeah.
Clearly, I just need to grow a third arm.
That is also an option. Seems trivial enough. I don't see why you don't.
Einstein's given his approval.
Is that the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the scientist who's like, I can do the surgery here.
That's Krieger from Archer.
Archer, Krieger, Einstein, they're much for muchness, yeah.
Same guy.
Sure.
They're both German.
Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah, no, why do I keep calling him Archer? Yeah, Krieger was like a clone of... No, Einstein was a clone of Hitler, right? That's how that works.
Yeah, you've got that the right way around, yeah.
All right. Well, that was sufficiently disappointing.
Do we have any good news to compensate for all my bad news?
Do we want... good news is I fixed City Skylines and I can now obsess over it again.
Oh dear.
Yes.
That's not good at all. That's...
Find him that support grouper.
I found the problem that was with the save files. I guess it was the autosave mod I had occasionally generate some weird save files that breaks the game entirely, so you just have to turn those save files off. Because the way the content's managed in the game is kind of strange, because you can just go into the content manager. It's like, oh, these are all the save files that are available to you, and you can it's not deleting the files, it's just turning them off. And if you turn them off, the game's like, oh yeah, I can load your games now. And then there's one mod that I've recorded like 4 episodes of my bloody Let's Play of it at this point before I figured this one out. There's one mod which is supposed to give randomized building names, which sounds really cool on the surface because the game normally generates a fairly limited set of building names. If you create like an industrial district, there are only like 6 different bloody businesses in there. Well, it's probably a few more than that. But you click on buildings and it's like, oh, Tim's Construction Yard, something. You click on buildings down the street, it's Tim's Construction Yard, something else, Tim's Construction Yard. And it's like, you just see the same names over and over again. And it's like, oh, that's a bit boring. So this mod was supposed to fix that, and it was like, oh, it creates all sorts of wonderful new names for the buildings, so that you have a diverse and varied range of building names throughout your city. And that was supposed to be really cool. Unfortunately, it breaks nearly every other mod out there. Someone was
Seems like a design flaw, yeah.
Yeah, someone was speculating, another modder whose mod was broken by this, that it's something to do with the load order of mods, because some mods load and some don't, and it feels almost entirely arbitrary which ones just straight up don't function. So another modder was speculating that during the load process for the randomized building names, it calls a null function or something, and it just stops the mod loading process. So it goes, load mod, load randomized building name, something goes wrong, no more mods are loaded at all after that point. So half the mods just go, nope, didn't work. So turn that one off and guess what? Everything works fine. So that guy really, whoever the hell made that, really needs to fix that, because I'm surprised it feels like that's a fairly major issue, because it's breaking everything that everybody else made. It's a fairly popular mod. People are like, that's a really cool idea. We like this. We want to implement this in our cities, and it just breaks everything. Whereas, like, that guy hopefully should be aware of the issue and should be fixing it. And if it's what the other modders are speculating, it seems like that should be... It's just a bug in the script that should... If they just fix that bug, it would make every other mod work. And then, surely, I think a lot of people are going to stop using his mod just because it breaks everything else. I know I haven't uninstalled it, but I've gone into the content manager and I've turned it off so that everything else plays nice with it. I'm also thinking, I'm gonna have to delve into it a bit more. I found some really cool stuff that was for day and night cycles and lighting up the city at night, because the game doesn't normally have a night time. And I was like, oh, this sounds really pretty and really cool. So the sun sets and then all the cities and buildings light up at night and it's going to look fantastic. This is going to be great. And it kind of didn't work. And I'm thinking it was probably those bloody names again.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna have to go dive back into those bloody mods and tinker around with it and see how it looks at night, because I think it's gonna be good. I think. I'm excited now anyway, because suddenly it'd been really frustrating just how many issues I'd been having with City Skylines, and all of a sudden everything works again. It's like, oh, this is good. This game is good again. I like it. I can tinker with all sorts of ridiculous crap now because the game works properly. So this is great. So I'm all about that now. So that PSA there for anybody who's playing City Skylines modded and having issues: turn randomized buildings names off because it screws up everything.
You have been told.
Also in positive things, Sky Saga 4 is a thing.
Yay!
We can't say a damn thing about it.
And this makes up the majority of what I've played
I
this
know,
week.
I've played quite a bit of that. We're both in the VIP thing, so it's like, oh, we get access to it a week early, but we're under NDA, so it's like you can play it, you can binge on it all you want, but you may not breathe a word of this to the outside world. So come Thursday.
If I were to ask you leading questions like, well, is the game any good? Your answer would have to be
Yes. Because we've already been playing it since Alpha 3 and we've done lots of content on it. It's just this iteration of the early access preview stuff. It's just the new build. We're not allowed to talk about anything that's in the new build.
Are there spaceships?
I'm not at liberty to say whether there are spaceships.
I nearly slipped then.
Is there a sky?
God damn it.
The sky was in Alpha 3, so I'm at liberty to say there is a sky.
Are there shiny spaceships?
I am not at liberty to say whether there are shiny spaceships.
Ooh, you're good. Does Barry Chuckle make a cameo?
I am not at liberty to say whether Barry Chuckle makes a cameo.
That's just got the audience's hope up.
Carry on, I'm enjoying this.
Let's swiftly move on. What else have you played?
I played a lot more Final Fantasy Record Keeper. I have started running into those energy limits. It seems like sort of when you get to about medium to hard difficulty missions, it suddenly starts using a lot more energy, and it's suddenly like, oh, now I have to stop playing this game now. So it's maybe more limiting than I had originally been informed. Well, at first I thought it was okay, but I don't know. It's kind of they've got a weekly kind of, well, not weekly, sort of limited time promo thing on. It's like, oh, it's only running for 2 weeks and you can get this limited edition character out of it. And I'm like, woo, must grind. So at every available opportunity, I wouldn't mind, but it's not even an interesting mission. But you have to do the same mission over and 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 over again to get it. It's just 5 random one single fights. Sections. It's just like, go up against one enemy. The enemy is chosen kind of at random, and then depending on how tough the enemy was, you kind of get a score multiplier thing, and it multiplies how many points you get, and then at the end of it, those points get added to your total, and as you get points, you unlock more and more stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff that you can get fairly easily out of it, so I'm getting some rather nice stuff for minimal effort out of that, so I'm okay with that. But at the same time, sometimes it's just like, here's fight Ifrit, and your score is doubled, and it's like, woo, lots of points. I'm going to cash out big time this time. Then another time it will be fight one Flan, and it's like a score multiplier times 1.2, and it's like, oh, points are crawling up so slowly. And then there's other things that are like, oh, 3 or 4 times multiplier, and they don't seem to pop up anywhere near as often as I would like them to, because they would give me lots of points. That's that. I dipped a toe into Chroma Squad because that's that is the Power Rangers thing.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Sounding good?
I'm not really. I'm wanting to get a review out on it like really soon actually. So that'll probably be going out if you're watching the podcast when it goes up later tonight. You can watch that shortly after you finished watching the podcast.
I love your self-advertising.
Yes, but at this moment in time, I don't think I've played enough of it to give an opinion on it. It seems cool, but I've really only still kind of in really early tutorial stuff. There's a lot of silly references to like celebrities and stuff. Like, a lot. You can pick which character plays each of the Power Rangers, so it gives you a whole list of various characters, and some of them like Kickstarter backers, so they're just some dude that you've never heard of, and then other ones.
He's the obvious choice.
Yeah,
He's the Blue Ranger.
Yeah, and then you got like Jet Li, who's like is like the default character to play the Red Ranger.
Obviously.
I remember that 90s Power Rangers and Jet Li all the time.
But you don't have to do that. You can choose Jet Li to play any Ranger, and you can change the colours of each of the Rangers as well. So you can have any 5 Rangers you want, with any various skills. And it's a tactics RPG kind of thing, so it's very much my jam. It's the same kind of gameplay as something like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Have you fought the Rapping Pumpkin yet?
What have I fought? No, I don't think it was a Rapping Pumpkin. I can't remember what the first boss was.
The only bad guy to show up in Power Rangers twice, I believe.
Right. I defer to your encyclopedic knowledge of Power Rangers.
No, it's quite weird because he appeared in the Halloween one, and they were having a contract dispute. So instead of bringing in, because they were bringing in new Rangers and there was a crossover period, they just showed stock footage of him returning in the same fight.
Okay.
In season 2 at some point. I just remember it because it's sort of like, he's saying the same rap.
Okay, cool. I think the first boss fight that they give you once you get into the game proper is I can't remember what they call it, but it's a cardboard box that boxes. It has boxing gloves and it boxes. It's a boxing box.
Nah.
Yeah,
I see what they did there.
that one I can't remember what the. I don't think it's really elaborated on quite what the circumstances are. There's some mysterious thing going on, but it kind of the boxing box kind of stands in for what was originally going. You were originally going to be fighting a guy who was just a traffic cone. I think he was the traffic mancer or something. He's carrying like a staff that's a traffic light.
I'm tempted to buy this. This sounds awesome.
I'm expecting. I've heard, from what I've heard from other people, a lot of people are really liking it. I'm liking what I've seen so far, even though it's not a lot. I think it's got the potential to be pretty good. But I do need to play a lot more of it, and I think as soon as we're done with the podcast, I will probably be diving into that. Although I do have a lot of Sky Saga to play. I was going to say something more specific then, but I was like, I'm not at liberty to say what the specifics are. But I have a lot of Sky Saga to play. I'm not even gonna. No, we need to stay away from that topic. Or we're gonna break some NDAs.
Don't get me started, for God's sake.
NDAs will be broken if we go there. So
yes.
Back to the Power Rangers bad guys.
Hmm.
No, sorry, I wanted you to give me more details.
Those are the only noteworthy ones I fought. The other ones were just like guys in squirrel costumes, like the minions.
What? No putties?
I haven't seen any putties yet. No, just squirrels so far.
Well, that's a disappointment. I don't remember the flying squirrels in the TV series, which is a missed opportunity now that one says it out loud.
They do have a big brain in a jar that is the boss.
No, Rita.
Sorry, Rita. I can't remember for the life of me what they would have called it in Power Rangers. I guess you know more about it than I do. It's been a very long time since I watched Power Rangers.
It was Rita or Emperor Zed.
I don't know. Either way, they find they just happen to go into their uncle's workshop. Their uncle has a warehouse even, who they decide, I'll just use our uncle's warehouse as our new film studio. This is going to be where we're going to shoot the new series of Chroma Squad. Or to be fair, it doesn't have to be called Chroma Squad. You can call it whatever you want. There's a lot of customization goes on. So you can name the Power Rangers. You can name the characters. You can again choose which characters and what abilities and things they have. You can choose the colors. You can change their catchphrase if you want. And yeah, little stuff like that.
But why would you?
Well, in case you've got a slightly more creative attitude than me. I was just like, I can't think of anything better than Chroma Squad, so I'm just going to call them Chroma Squad. So, such they remain. But, yeah, they kind of go into the warehouse and then they pull back a curtain and their uncle just happens to have the big brain in the jar in his warehouse and they're like, well, that's a bit weird, but okay, we can use that as a prop. and then their former director plots to steal the big brain in the jar because he thinks it would be cool as a prop as well. And I think that's mostly the premise of the thing.
Well, evil director man is right.
So yeah, then I barely even got into this. I know there's a lot of management over your film studio. You have to buy upgrades for your film studio and better cameras and better green screen and things and stuff just to make the show look better. And the better your show looks, the more fans you'll get, and the more fans you get, the more money you make, and the more money you make, the better you can upgrade your team and stuff. And yeah,
It's a bit like because there was that PC game in the movies a couple of years back, wasn't there? So it's kind of like that.
Yes, oh god, I remember playing the movies. That was not great, actually.
It was difficult.
Now that I think about it, the movies was not a fantastic game. I wouldn't really say this is the same kind of thing. This is, I think the studio and upgrades it's more analogous to, like I say, it's basically at the core of it. It's just Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's more analogous to like the equipment. So normally you've got the RPG gear management. It's like, oh, I need to buy a better sword for my knight, and oh, I need to buy a better staff for my mage, and we need to buy robes and hats and things for all the guys, and you've got to tweak all their stats and get the movesets sorted. Normally within an RPG you've got all that kind of management. I think it's kind of just replaced all that management with now you've got to manage your studio instead, for the most part. It's just like you're buying cameras instead of swords, but functionally speaking, from a gameplay perspective, I think they're fairly similar. It's just an interesting take on the genre. It's a genre I quite like, so I definitely need to sink a few hours into this at some point over the next 24 hours.
Get to playing more.
But Sky Saga.
Yeah.
I also played Dandy. Dandy is cool. Dandy is a game I was sent back when they were running a Kickstarter for it, actually, and I did an early look video on it, and I thought it was cool. Now they've actually finished the game and they've sent me it again, and now they're on Steam Greenlight. And it's kind of put me in a weird position where I prefer to try and cover games that are out on Steam properly. Additionally to that, the developer has been going on about how fantastic my videos are on Twitter, which I'll say, if we're talking about introducing biases to people, it's like I kind of feel like I can't review this game fairly anymore.
Yeah, it is a bit compromised at this point.
Yeah, Did we talk about this with the Titan Souls thing and Total Biscuit not so long ago? Did we not?
Yeah.
Where the developer was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like Total Biscuit," and he was like, "Oh well, this is going to influence my review, so I can't review it anymore." I've kind of got a similar but almost kind of the exact opposite situation here, where the developer's like, "Oh, I love his videos. His videos are fantastic," and I'm like, "But you want me to review your game? I don't think I can do that now." I want to review your game. I kind of honestly, my honest opinion, I like it. I don't think it's the best shooter I've ever played, but I like it for what it is.
I think you especially could be mature about this and say, look, this guy likes the videos that I produce, but I'm still going to be fair about this.
It could be like the bottom mash legal disclaimer that we occasionally do.
I'll say, yes, I suppose just full disclosure at the start of the video is probably the way to go with these kind of things. If you say, look, this is where I'm coming from on this video, bear this in mind when I give my critique. I'm going to try to be fair, but bear in mind that these particular factors may influence my decision.
Or alternatively, let me Will play through the game and review it. Between us, we can kill that channel.
We can make a stain on your YouTube channel.
If you wanted to do that, I'd probably let you do it, to be honest. I can send you the download link if you guys want to. If you guys want to do that, if you guys have the know-how and technology to record and produce a video, I can give you it.
Well, I don't, so Will, it's on you.
Oh, great.
So that's a really weird, trippy, side-scrolling shooter about a man in the land of candy, and he shoots things at really adorable but horrifying monsters.
Oh my god, I remember this game now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just for you saying that, it was absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, and then you pick up upgrades and it distorts him in very strange and bizarre and freaky kind of ways. There's probably proportionally less of the upgrades that you make him go, oh god, what the hell is wrong with your face now? But there's still some in there. Some of them are just like, oh, suddenly his immaculate black hair has turned into this shocking blonde spiky do and stuff. And there are a lot of upgrades in that. I've played it a lot at this point, and I'm still finding shit I haven't actually tried out yet. My issue with it, I guess, at this point, mostly is that it doesn't really explain well what stuff does. There's so many items you pick it up and it's like, well, I can see how it's visually changed the character. I can't see how this actually functionally affects the gameplay. I can't figure out what's actually happening here. Sometimes it'll just like, oh, it's changed the bullets from... I mean, the default bullet color is just kind of sort of a rainbow sort of spectrum-y kind of... It changes color. And then it's like, oh, now I'm shooting red bullets, or I'm shooting brown bullets, or yellow bullets. And it's like, but what do they do? I don't know what this does. In some cases it's pretty obvious, but then in a lot of other cases the description of them is really vague as well. Sometimes it isn't, and it's like, oh, this is going to make this happen. And other times it's like, what's the one? It's like, one of them says, oh, super painful but totally worth it. And I was like, what does that mean? Does that mean this is just a damage upgrade? Is that what that means? Because it's not clear what that means. And then some of them you can kind of figure out if you play it a little while. One of them is kind of like a temporary shield that I think activates when you get hit by an enemy. And I picked that up a couple times, I think, before I actually realized quite what happened there. And I was like, oh, I think I activated when I was shot, so it just kind of gives you a longer invulnerability after attacks, I guess, which is something. So I'm kind of figuring it out. My main gripe, another gripe of it is it's still brutally hard. It's bloody difficult. I can't get to level 2 comfortably, like at all. I managed it once, and then I started cheating.
How did you cheat in this game?
Basically, one of the original gripes I had with the game was that the game didn't have an auto fire. If you hold down the mouse button, nothing happened. Nothing used to happen. Now they've actually implemented an auto fire. Previously, you just had to click the mouse repeatedly to shoot lots of bullets, and that was a really good way to get wanker's cramp.
The technical term in gaming.
Yes. Now. Yeah, it does have auto-fire, but the auto-fire isn't really quite fast enough to deal with a lot of enemies, and what I discovered is that clicking the mouse button faster than the auto-fire fires makes it fire faster. So you then go back to the original issue of you need to be clicking furiously. Since I now have a gaming mouse, what I did is I went into my mouse control panel and configured it so that when I left-click, it actually clicks like 10 times in a row in like half a second.
Yes, that is cheating.
Guess what? It works really, really well.
Well done,
why.
you, sir. Well done.
It's just basic. I still have to click, but just much less frequently. For every click, I shoot like 4 bullets, and it's just like I just have to click at a leisurely pace, and it's just machine guns the entire screen. There is clearly a bound. There's clearly a limit to how fast you can fire in the game, and basically, I'm just firing at that limit. I have found
semi-auto.
I was going to say I have found exactly how fast Dandy can shoot, and I continuously shoot at that speed. It does give you an incentive to not shoot continuously, because if you stop shooting, your next shot charges up a bit. It's more powerful, so between waves and stuff, it's worth doing that. But honestly, just shooting at full tilt is far more powerful than doing charge shots anyway, on the whole. So it's still really, really advantageous just to keep hammering away and just annihilating everything. And honestly, even cheating, I still haven't beaten level 2. I can get to level 2 reasonably consistently while cheating, but I can't beat it.
I was going to say you're a terrible human being, but by the sounds of it, you're a terrible cheater.
It's a horrifyingly difficult game.
I absolutely want to try this.
And it's not unfair difficult in the way something like Paul and Barry Chuckles To Me to Zoo is.
Yeah, well, that's just horrendous.
That's just inhuman. Dandy is at least doable, and it's got that one more go kind of thing going on. It's like, damn it, that was a stupid mistake. I can do better than that next time, and you'll just make some other stupid mistake.
So it's one of those games where it's just like, alright, after this, if I die now, I'm done. Then when you die, nope, I'm going to beat this.
It also gives you a little bit of an incentive to go back and have another go, because when you die, one of the upgrades that you have picked up to that point in time is dropped where you die. If you make it back to that point, you can get that upgrade back.
That's quite
But you have to make it at least as far as you made it on your previous run in order to get that upgrade back. I think once I kind of I only took health upgrades so that when I died, it basically just dropped a full health pickup where I died. And so next run I was like really low on health, but when I got back to where I died, there was just this heal, and it was like, ding, you're now on full health again. And I was like, that's an interesting strategy, actually.
So that's quite strategic.
I feel like the obvious comparison for the game is Rush Fusion, because they're both kind of taken the genre in the same direction. It's both shoot 'em up roguelike. I kinda hate to say it, but I feel like Rush Fusion is a little bit better. Just because, I don't know, just because they actually... I think the difficulty is where I draw the line with Dandy. With Rush Fusion, it wasn't so punishingly difficult that you could actually experiment with lots of interesting upgrades and come up with really cool stuff. And it's like, I'll get this weapon, and then I'll combine it with this weapon, and I'll combine it with this upgrade, and then this passive upgrade, and then this. And you can do really interesting things, and you can have ship builds, and it's really interesting. With Dandy, I'm finding it so difficult to even get to the third upgrade, and by the time I'm getting to the third upgrade, I'm having to forego the third upgrade in favor of healing my character because I've already lost nearly all my health. It's like, well, I can take an upgrade for my character, or I can heal up. So I was like, well, now I need to heal up, so I've still only got the 2 upgrades for my character. So I'm finding it really difficult to actually come up with any kind of interesting combinations of weapons to see what they do, just by sheer virtue of the difficulty. I think the beauty in a shoot-'em-up roguelike is in the interesting combinations that you can create with the weapons, and I'm just not finding that viable in Dandy. So that's most of my thoughts on it. I don't need to review it now. Oh well, that's gonna be an awkward one for me to review now. Anyway, I don't know how to approach that. Blech. Hey ho. Okay, I'm seeing I Am Bread on there, so I need to ask about it. What the hell is this? What the hell is I Am Bread Starch Wars?
In honor of May the 4th.
So a long time ago.
Actually,
in a bakery far away.
Not that long ago.
About an hour ago.
In a closer to home kind of way, it's a mini game, very much like what's it called? Rogue Squadron. It is pretty much Rogue Squadron.
What?
But
with
the
bread?
ships are made of bread.
What?
So the TIE fighters are made out of little donuts with cracker wings.
Oh wow!
Right.
You are kind of like I don't even know what you're supposed to be, really. It's that very first scene in episode 4 where the Empire ship is chasing the Rebel ship. Except the Empire ship is an ironing board. And the Rebel ship is a French baguette.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Wow.
It's Rogue Squadron, but with bread. And it plays really well.
That's taking the genre in a the game in a drastically different genre kind of direction. It's like they've just completely uphold the entire game.
Somebody is a marketing genius over there.
Also, I don't even know. Like I say, it's like, how does that work? Just the fact that it seems like they would literally need to redesign the entire game from the ground up.
Whole new game,
just to do this silly Star Wars May the 4th joke.
Yep. And it worked.
Which is a lot of effort to do that. That's some work. I mean, kudos to Bossa Studios, is it, that make it? Yeah,
No idea.
I think it's Bossa. Yeah, Bossa Studios make it.
How did you get on, Will?
I haven't finished it yet. I've blown up the 3 field generators on the ironing board, and now I don't exactly know where to hit it.
Oh, dear.
It's not obvious where the next part is, because you'd think it would be the iron on the ironing board.
Of course.
But no.
Ooh.
Or maybe I'm just not hitting the right part of the iron.
Is there an exhaust shaft?
There's 3 engines at the back, but it's not those either. And it's got little turrets on it and everything, and there's lasers flying everywhere. It's fantastic. And it's even got like the roll. You can roll in different directions, just like in Rogue Squadron. It's fantastic.
I'm intrigued by this concept because
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Rogue Squadron games immensely. How are they doing this? Is this just like a free DLC for it? Is that what this is?
Yep.
I resent the idea of buying I Am Bread for this.
Just to play the mini game.
Yeah, I really do.
It's totally worth it.
Jesus.
Well, I think we can all take bets on what John's going to do, but it'd be a wasted bet.
I'm not. I'm going to watch it on YouTube because that's how you pirate games these days.
Watching them on
You
YouTube.
you live vicariously through other people playing the game. That's my attitude towards it. Yes, I'm not paying £10 for I Am Bloody Bread.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm just intrigued by this.
It did entertain me for most of this afternoon, so I thought it was fantastic.
I'll be honest, if they'd done like a kind of an expandalone kind of deal, if it was like, look, it's like £3, here you go, you can buy it on its own, I might have had a crack at that. I don't want to buy the entirety of I Am Bread just for a bloody minigame.
I don't even know how long this is because I haven't finished it yet. It could well be like 5 minutes worth of gameplay, and I'm just being really awful at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it is just the sort of May the 4th thing, how much content is there actually? I mean, it's not going to be a full Rogue Squadron's worth of content.
No, obviously.
So I'm not paying £10 for 5 minutes.
But like
sort
I
of,
say,
lol, this is amusing kind of deal.
I like the thought of us coming back next week and we're still playing it.
I will finish this.
I was going to say, if Will can come back next week and say, yeah, I've sunk like 20 hours into it this week, this is totally worth it, I might contemplate it, you know.
I doubt it's got quite that much in it.
Ran into the shoe pastry after it.
So, yeah. Anyone playing anything else? Michael, what have you been playing?
More tabletop games. Do you remember a couple of weeks back I told you about playing Betrayal at the House on the Hill?
I don't remember what that one was.
That's
that was a kind of a werewolfy mafia kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some sort.
Basically, you go around in a touring group and one of you turns into a traitor after the
Yeah.
haunt begins.
Okay.
I'm happy to report in this particular game, it was me.
Okay.
And I think I may have drawn the game's worst plot to kill my fellow companions.
Right.
My devious plan was to shrink all my companions and set cats upon them.
Okay.
It failed miserably, because there just happened to be in the bedroom a toy aeroplane which my companions just climbed into and flew out of the open window.
Okay. Well, that was the thing that happened, I guess.
It was so damn annoying. Because some of them are quite clever, like you can bring out the hell of Satan and things like that. And I thought cats would work.
Right.
It's like a Chucklevision version of the Haunt.
I've no idea how the mechanics of this game allow for these things to happen, but I gotta say I'm intrigued by it.
Basically, when you set off the Haunt, there's omens. So eventually you set off. There's like up to about 50 different haunts you can do, and it depends on where and when you are in the room. That triggers which haunt you do.
Right.
So
Okay. Is this the kind of thing we can play on Tabletop Simulator at some point?
Quite potentially, yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there is a mod for it somewhere.
Worth a look. I'm going to check.
He's looking.
I am looking, don't you worry. Tabletop Simulator simulates everything. It's probably in there, let's be honest.
Also played Pandemic, had another go at trying to save the world.
Oh yeah? How'd that go?
Came pretty close, actually.
Alright. Oh yeah, Betrayal at House on the Hill, there we go. Yeah, it's on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, Pandemic is ridiculously hard. I think it's the hardest game to play. Because I can't see a viable way to win.
Right.
We came close, but one of the things is if you go through all the maximum cards you can draw, and you have to draw a card every turn, you basically lose. So we were very close to curing all the disease, but we only had one card left and another 2 turns to take.
Okay.
So technicalities killed us,
Right.
which I imagine is how most disease works.
Killed on a technicality. That's how Ebola spreads, through technicalities.
Yeah.
Aha! Betrayal at House on the Hill can be played with 3 players. Good.
So yeah.
We'll have to get that on the go at one night.
Yep.
We shall have to figure out how Tabletop Simulator works. Although I have I have a thought on that one, so I will
Oh,
talk
maybe.
to you guys
Yes. Afterwards, yes.
afterwards. Yeah, I think I know how to make this work.
Oh,
we can make it
brilliant.
work.
Wow. People, keep your eyes peeled.
Yes, any decade now we might actually do some Twitch.
Whoa.
Don't hold your breath.
Unless we suddenly come into quite a bit of money. No, yeah.
Why is money involved in this?
PCs, gaming, that kind of jazz.
Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. I have a perfectly serviceable PC, thank you. But
You don't have a serviceable internet connection.
well, that is a thing. I may be getting that one sorted soon.
Ah.
I may be meeting my landlord for the first time ever to actually talk about this.
Yeah.
So maybe
I've lived in this the house I am in at the minute. I've lived in for 4 years. I have never met the landlord. He is coming to this country for the first time in like 4 years in a few weeks. At which point I will meet him and I will be able to say, "Can we please get a faster internet for the love of God? You're here now. Make it happen. I need internets." So that's going to happen. Hopefully. I think. I got to talk about Spiral Knights very briefly.
go for it.
Oh, go
There
on
are Spiral
then.
Knights things.
Really?
There are Spiral Knights things.
What kind of things?
They've changed the Vanaduke.
They've changed Vanadu.
Well, they're going to.
Okay.
They've posted screenshots all week on Facebooks and things, and there's like a green version of Vanaduke that the sprites are like everywhere, and there's grass growing, and it's less fiery, and there's totally different enemies, and it looks like they've completely redesigned the entire Vanaduke level set. What the hell's it called? Firestorm Citadel. That's the one.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's Vanaduke is changed. It's not like they've changed the fight. It's not like this is just changing the fight or anything. I think this is like an entirely new version of it. It's like the Shadow Lair kind of thing. But how they're implementing it, I have no idea. I don't know where this is going, but it's very interesting.
A lot more Alma soldiers, it looks like.
Yeah, there's like scarabs and things in there.
Yeah.
A whole
Oh,
different enemy
God.
sets and things. Yeah, it's kind of they're kind of implementing. I mean, Firestorm Citadel predates a lot of the mechanics that are seen elsewhere in the game now. They've designed and added a lot more mechanics to the game, so it's almost like they've gone back and said, hey, we've got a lot more cool stuff that we do in the game, or have done in... Actually, in a lot of instances, only in promo events and things. It's like, oh, here's one level that's repeatable, that you can just run that one level over and over again for the next 2 weeks, and then it's going away for like 6 months. And they put really interesting mechanics in it, and it's never seen again, so it's like, oh, let's see if we can actually put it in some regular content now. And here's hoping that as of Wednesday, that will actually be a thing.
This looks a lot harder.
It seems like it would be some sort of serious challenging content. It seems like the way it's going. I mean, did you ever get around to playing the last 3 missions they added?
Last 3 missions?
They added 3 missions for
Oh,
Vanguards.
No, I didn't, actually. I think I may have to try all of these again.
Well, the final mission in the game, the very last mission now, is literally just a chunk of a shadow lair.
Ah, right. Well, they were always fun.
Well, they killed me a lot, but yeah.
I was pretty good at those back in the day.
Right, I've not done many of them in my time, so... I still haven't done Red Romulus Twins at all. I need to do that at some point.
Oh?
I've done all of the other ones at least once, but
yes.
Red Romulus Twins I've never done.
I think I've done all of them. I know I've at least attempted the Ice Jelly Queen. I don't know if I've actually finished that one.
I did that, and it was just like it was still super vulnerable to Acheron. It just kind of was like dead.
Yeah.
Like, that would. I went into it thinking, okay, this is an upgraded and serious hardcore version of one of the. But there's only like 4 major bosses in the game, and this is an upgraded, serious hardcore version of this. I'm going to be really cautious and play this safe and take this seriously, and this is going to be a really challenging mission. And everybody was like, yeah, Acheron, dead. And it's like, that was really quick. You guys killed that so fast. I was holding back thinking, oh, we need to play this safe. You can't rush a fight like this. This is a fight where, if I rush in, I'm going to get killed. I don't want to be Leroy here, basically. And it was like, dead. It was like, oh, okay. It's not that much tougher then, is it?
Red Romulus Twins aren't that much more difficult either, because that's a tactics fight. It's not really
yeah.
And Snarlax, I remember being quite challenging, and
well, they just give you more bosses to fight, and that boss can do nasty statuses to you, which is kind of challenging in its own kind of way.
Vanajuk was horrendous. That took a long time, a lot of deaths.
It wasn't. I have done Darkfire Vanajuk, but I can't remember. I don't remember it being too horrible. Either that or I've blanked it out of my memory through trauma. One of the two. It goes one way or the other.
I think the latter is more plausible.
I think I went with a good group who had done it a bunch of times, so they pretty much carried me most of the way, I suspect. I don't remember it being too traumatic.
Cool. Well, we shall have to have a run of this when it updates.
Yes, very much looking forward to seeing what happens here. That should be good. And last time they did the mission updates, they teased it just like the week beforehand. So if it's going the same way, hopefully it should be this Wednesday. They should be like, oh, here's some stuff. Boom, Wednesday, it's out.
Sweet. Shall don my golden chapeau.
Awesome. Cool. I'm gonna drag you back into that goddamn game.
Oh, God damn it.
Alrighty. I think that's probably about it. Anyone got anything else? Anything exciting to add?
Not particularly exciting, just more Killing Floor 2. Because I like killing zombies. Killing zombies a lot.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, to each their own. I'm a little tired of that.
It is so monotonous because it is just the same level over and over and again, but it's the fact that it's got XP in it that brings me back, because I have to max the XP out. Yeah,
it's early access, isn't it? So
yes.
How many levels is it? Is it really literally just one level? I thought there were a lot more in early access.
There's 3 maps, but essentially each there's either 4, 7, or 10 waves, and they're all essentially the same waves with the same boss at the end, just on 3 different maps.
Oh, okay. Right. I see.
However, it is very addictive.
Fair enough. So Sky Saga, I'm playing that.
Yes, at Sky Saga has me enthralled. I've weaned off Killing Floor for the week to play Sky Saga.
Right, cool. Well, I guess if we're at the end of interesting things, because obviously we still can't talk about Sky Saga, let's go on a break, I suppose, and I shall tell you how I plan to make Tabletop Simulator work. We can grab a drink, and we'll come back and we shall do the latest gaming news for the past week, as well as upcoming gaming releases for the coming week.
We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. Bottom Mash Podcast is back.
Oh, we missed that jingle.
It's been a week.
Well, we had the jingle, but it was sung by a different person. It was not the same.
I'm glad I know what my worth on the show is. Aw, I'm sure you did well in my absence, Will.
You couldn't be replaced, Michael.
The smooth jazz is nice, but it's just not the original, you know? It's like Star Wars. The original is the best, you know? It's basically your smooth jazz version of it is basically George Lucas making...
Don't you dare say episode 1. Don't you dare say episode 1.
I was going to say Greedo shoot first, actually, but...
I'm glad to know that I'm pre-edit of Star Wars. So
Alrighty, we're back. The Button Mash Podcast returns. We're going to do some gaming news.
and now, gaming news and gossip.
First up, the thing that we said last week, absolutely, 100% categorically wouldn't happen, totally happened within like 12 hours of us saying it, and before the video bloody went up on YouTube.
Hey, if we're going to look like idiots, let's look like idiots properly.
And we look like monumental idiots. Let's go back to Steam modding then. Steam modding, which we talked about at great length, much great length last week. And we swore blind, categorically, that it's not Valve's style to reverse a decision like this. If they're going to decide that this is how things are done, it's going to stay that way. They're just going to leave it like that as a paid system until people get used to having a paid system. And then within 12 hours was actually saying that, and like I say, before we even put up the bloody podcast on the YouTube channel, Valve turned around and went, whoops, sorry, I guess you guys don't like it anymore, we'll take it down, sorry guys, sorry. Apparently it cost them over $1 million.
Wow.
Just in sort of...
That's an expensive lesson to learn, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people sort of speculated, probably badly, on where that cost kind of came. Gabe Newell posted on Reddit about that. He was like, oh yeah, this was an expensive mistake for us. It set us back like $1 million. And most people, like, he referenced saying, oh, it was part of the email support. And it was like, everyone's like, oh, if I send them lots of emails, it costs Valve money. Ha, screw Valve, I'm going to send them lots of emails. I was like, I think that's how that works. It's not the cost of receiving an email is so high for Valve that your email literally costs them large chunks of money. It's just more kind of the cost of doing business, and they have it's Valve's weird staffing structure that they've got where everybody does everything, so everybody kind of does customer support. So if suddenly there's a day when the shit hits the fan and Valve offices are looking rather brown all of a sudden, well, suddenly everybody at Valve is probably on cleanup. Everyone's manning the mops and buckets, to continue this metaphor. So, yeah, basically, I imagine not much work got done, not much actual work beyond answering emails in a customer support fashion got done at Valve for a couple of days there. Which is probably where the cost comes from, is just in the fact that they literally didn't get to work on Half-Life 3, they didn't get to work on Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, all those things they're working on all the time, you know.
You Jesus.
All the hard work that everyone at Valve does on Half-Life 3 all the time. Yeah, that all stopped for like 2 days. So that's why Half-Life 3 is delayed, obviously. It's because it's all those refunds they have to give people. Every time you ask for a refund from Valve, Half-Life 3 gets delayed another day.
They were planning on that money. They were
So
really
you're blaming-
needing that money for Half-Life 3.
That's
bastards.
yeah, that Skyrim modding money was going to fund Half-Life 3.
You bastards.
And now we can never have it. You ruined it for everyone, modders.
Well,
Damn you.
I hope getting your refund for games that you did not enjoy was worth the agony that you've inflicted upon the world.
And also Reverse Side. Reverse Side did untold damage to Valve at this point, probably, given this specific scenario that's unfolding.
Thanks to Reverse Side, Half-Life 3 will come out after certain people die.
After everybody who is currently alive on this planet dies. This is taking into account future longevity treatments as well, by the way. So the children who are being born kind of like this year, who are going to live to about the age of 200, I'm saying it's going to come out after they die. Yeah. You ruined it for everyone, refunders.
It's kind of at the first point in Futurama when you see it in the background while Fry's in the chamber where the world starts getting destroyed. I think it's not the first one, but it's the second one of those.
Right, okay. So at that point in time, that destruction of the world was actually the release of Half-Life 3. That's what you were witnessing in the background of the intro to Futurama there.
Yeah, I think if you look in the corner, you can see the actual game.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. People are going to go back and watch that frame by frame now. Go check out the first 1,000 years of Futurama while Fry's in the chamber. Watch it back really closely. You will see Half-Life 3.
I will warn you, it is very small.
I think Gordon Freeman was in one of the UFOs.
I think you're right. Yeah.
We have mud on our face, but Valve has a lot more mud on their face right now. The weirdest thing about this is that both Valve and Bethesda had less than 24 hours beforehand defended it and said, no, we think this is good, this is how we think it should be, this is totally the way forward, this is the future, guys, you guys just have to believe in us. And then, I don't know, less than 24 hours later, you know what, guys, alright, you guys win.
As it should be.
Maybe after he made that statement, he looked at his bank balance, and that probably helped with the decision.
I feel like for Valve, $1 million probably isn't really a big deal anyway. They're fucking massive. They take 30% of every bloody transaction on Steam, with the exception of the Steam Market, of which they only take 5%, but that's probably not a major chunk of things. But nonetheless, yeah. Every time you buy, if you buy a $60 game, they're getting better part of $20 of that.
If you're losing $1 million in, what was it, a week, 2?
Less than a week, a few days.
Yeah, at that point, you're allowed to panic.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, like I said, I don't think it was like their bank balance was literally $1 million lower because of this. It's more the opportunity cost of it. It's like there was $1 million worth of work that their team could have done in those days. They could have generated $1 million. It's more lost in that sense. It's like if everybody who works at Valve was allowed to continue doing the work that they do on a daily basis, they could have brought in $1 million worth of extra revenue in that time because they were all sat around fucking answering emails that were written by really, really angry nerds on the internet. That work never got done and Valve never made that $1 million. I think it's more lost in that sense than anything else. So, yeah. It's interesting to hear, every time I've heard a modder's perspective on this, a lot of modders aren't necessarily, categorically against the idea of, making a living out of doing what they love, as so many people have found the opportunity to do before them. Indeed, I believe there's someone who is doing content for City Skylines who's running it through Patreon. It's like every time I make a new building for City Skylines, you pay $1 or whatever on my Patreon. So he's kind of making money out of doing City Skylines that way, which is kind of cool. I don't know how that's being distributed. I guess that would have to go through a Steam Workshop, so I feel like everybody should already have access to that. I don't know. So, again, it's kind of that weird kind of more of a donation kind of thing, which I feel like would have been probably better received if they just stuck a donation button on each of the mods. That could have been better, and not taken 75% of the bloody money. If you're going to make a donation to something, you don't want 75% of your donation to go to somebody other than the person you were donating to.
Yeah,
it's the equivalent of I'll spend this £2 on the pandas. Oh, here you go. Thanks very much. Oh, by the way, 75% of that £1.50 goes to the people hunting them. So
yeah, well, that's wow. To say hunting them is a bit strong. Also, firstly, who hunts pandas? Is that a thing? Are there panda hunters?
It doesn't sound like extreme hunting.
It's not, no.
It's not like hunting a lion, it's like
it's not the thrill of the chase.
There's a big market for panda paw.
Well, I guess.
I wouldn't doubt that.
At the same time, to take that analogy, it's almost like you're saying Valve is literally trying to kill modding, which is an argument people have made here, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Weirdly enough, I kind of feel... I don't know if I want to make this analogy, I guess I kind of do. I feel like it's like the big issue Nobody wants to buy that bloody magazine. When you do it, you're donating to a homeless person because you think, oh, good on him. He's actually trying to work for a living. I will donate my £2.50 to him. But £1.50 of that actually goes to the people who print the magazine that you don't want. Does that analogy not hold up?
No, I think that's pretty fair, actually.
That's why you give the people the money directly and you don't take the magazine.
Yeah, and I realise this is how it should work, but the whole point of the big issue is, they're doing a good thing. They're actually working for a living instead of begging, and if you just give them the money, they're effectively begging again. So I don't know. I always feel like that the big issue is a really, really bloody weird thing to have running because it's like it almost seems self-defeating, and yet somehow it perpetuates really weirdly. I don't know.
Which is exactly how this is with the modding in Steam.
Yes, basically, modding in Steam is the big issue. That is what I am saying here. I think. I don't know. I don't know how I got there. I really don't.
The idea was flawed, let's say that.
It had some connection that I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I don't know if there's much more to say on it. I guess the matter has mostly been dropped. I've heard one modder speculate that they may be looking to release Fallout 4, and they were kind of trying to test the waters for maybe launching Fallout 4 with this system in place for that. With the idea being that it's a really bloody bad idea to do it for a game that's already been out for years and has a really strong and healthy modding scene that's been completely free for years and has been thriving free for years. Suddenly to turn around and start putting a price tag on everything is just to, flip the damn table. Whereas if you launched a game and said, okay, this game already has an integrated, it's already accessible to modders and has an integrated system by which modders can sell their works if they so desire, it could sort of evolve more naturally. Probably it may be a better system to try out and launch with the launch of a new game. And I feel like if you were going to launch it, don't take 75% of the money. Because at that point you are literally worse than the big issue.
But
yeah.
That's the point. With older games that already have this community, what happens to everybody that already has the mods? Do they then have to pay for the mods, or do they just get to keep them for free?
I'm not sure how that worked, actually.
Surely they'd be allowed to keep the mods that they've already got, but
I would have hoped so, but I don't own Skyrim, so I'm not really up on it. I'm not sure how that worked. I remember that was a concern, but I don't recall actually hearing what actually did happen. I did notice. I saw someone linked at some point in some discussion thread on Reddit that a Reddit popped up and was suddenly massively popular, which was mod piracy. Because apparently the Steam system was really super vulnerable to that anyway. It was you buy a mod, it installs the mod, and then you get a refund, and it doesn't uninstall the mod. So you just got the mod for free by just demanding a refund immediately, which is the way the system was set up to work. It was just like, oh, I bought it, oh, I don't like it, or it doesn't work, no, this isn't up to my standards, I'd like my money back. And then it just stays installed in your game and you can carry on using it. So it was like super susceptible to that.
Yeah.
And then people were just like taking those files and sticking them up on the Pirate Bay anyway. Because, screw the system, man. So, yeah, I mean, if you start putting a price tag on things, there will be piracy. There is that.
Big declaration, there will be piracy.
There was someone had... What was the noise in the background there?
Yeah.
Someone... I heard a woman's voice.
It may have been an advert on my phone.
An advert on your phone? What? Why are you watching adverts on your phone whilst you're supposed to be talking about video games?
I was looking something up on YouTube and there's an advert at the start of the video, so I apologise.
Very unprofessional.
I never claimed I was a professional. I talked about Barry Chuckle for 20 minutes on a gaming podcast. What do you want?
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll give you that. So, yeah, Steam modding. We were wrong. I guess I'm glad we were wrong.
Yeah, well, it's all worked out.
Seems to have worked out pretty well in the end.
It's like a 90s sitcom. Everything's back to normal by the next episode.
It actually genuinely is. Except for all the people who are now still going, there's a bad business decision, I'm boycotting them. They only did it because it was a PR. They only reversed the decision because it was a PR move. And it's like, no, it's listening to their customers. Surely that's exactly what you would support in a company. Surely when you boycott a company, you want them to, concede to your particular requests. And in this case, they kind of did. So is that not what you were gunning for? To continue boycotting it seems to defeat the entire point of a boycott. What are your demands now?
Yeah.
That Valve make more mods for you for free for them by themselves?
Valve make Half-Life
what does
3, I
boycotting
think,
them
is the
continue to
boycott.
achieve? Sorry?
Let's make Half-Life 3. That's the boycott.
Oh, right, yes. We're not going to buy any more Steam products until you make Half-Life 3. Good luck with that. We'll see you in 200 years. Alright. Let's talk about the big Kickstarter of the week.
Yeah.
I feel like that should have a jingle, really. Although I feel like it could also be very similar to the Barry Chuckle one.
I'm trying to think of one that's not the same.
The big Kickstarter of the week. Yeah.
Still on my job, John.
Let's talk about Ukulele, which was formerly known as Project Ukulele. Surprisingly enough, it became Ukulele. Who knew?
They dropped the project.
Yeah. Well, previously it was Project Ukulele, as in the instrument ukulele, and everyone was like, what is this? And it's now Yuka, Y-O-O-K-A, hyphen Layle, L-A-Y-L-E-E. And those are the names of the characters. It's they made the title of the game out of the two characters in it. Do you remember any games that did that before?
Yes.
Maybe.
Could you name one?
Banjo and Kazooie.
It might be a little bit like Banjo-Kazooie. It might be entirely like Banjo-Kazooie. This is the fastest funded video game on Kickstarter ever. They asked for £175,000. They raised that in, I think, less than an hour? Or maybe less than 2 hours. It was very, very fast. I forget. They smashed past the £1 million mark within the first day or so. Time of recording, it currently sits at £1.334 million, with nearly 40,000 backers. There are 43 days to go on this Kickstarter campaign.
I don't think they need that long.
I don't think they do, no. And this is one. It kind of almost feels like this is one of those ones that could end up kind of bloated as far as stretch goals and things. And they did. I mean, I have backed this because it is Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Kazooie is one of my top 3 games ever. So, yeah, I did get an update from them earlier today where they were like, oh yeah, one of the biggest concerns everyone's had is Kickstarter stretch goal bloat, because you see these really big ones and oh, for another 100,000 we'll add this, for another 100,000 we'll add this, for another 100,000 we'll add this, and you got this ridiculous shopping list of things, and you're like, this is getting a bit out of hand. We're talking what are we talking? What's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Exploding Kittens.
A little bit. That was not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Star Citizen.
Oh, yes.
I was thinking Star Citizen levels bloat. As in, oh, for another £2 million, we'll add another spaceship. Oh, for another £2 million, we'll add another spaceship. Oh, for another £2 million, we'll add another spaceship. And it just goes on for £75 million. It's like, your stretch goals are a little bit ridiculous now.
Put a deed to your house, we'll add another spaceship.
Yeah. So if this carries on this rate, this could be very, very silly. Although I feel like there was a massive explosion at the start and it's kind of trailed off a bit. I think everybody who really, really, really wanted in on this got in on it within the first 24 hours, really. So, I mean, I would not be surprised to see this pass 2 or more million, but I think it'll be slower going to get to that. This is Platonic Games. Obviously, they announced Project Ukulele a little while back. They are a team. They are some of the top talent from the original Rare team that made stuff like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong Country. And if you look at this Kickstarter, I almost feel like there's not any copyright infringement, but it feels like it should be. You know? It feels like it's treading on Banjo-Kazooie trademark territory. The logo is in exactly the same style. In spite of the fact that it says ukulele and not Banjo-Kazooie, it's exactly the same style. They've replaced the bear with a lizard, and they've replaced the bird with a bat, but functionally they're still the same. It's still the winged creature rides around on the other guy's back and allows them to fly. The levels look, well, obviously a lot better than it did back in 1990 whatever. I don't know what year Banjo-Kazooie was anymore. That was a long time ago. But it's prettier, but it's the same aesthetic. And everything still has eyes for some reason. I mean, in the music section, they've covered it in notes, and all the notes have eyes. And one of the big collectibles in Banjo-Kazooie was notes with eyes. Everything, for some reason, needs its own googly eyes.
Everybody needs googly eyes.
It's like you're not even remotely trying to hide this at this point. It's like, yeah, this is literally Banjo-Kazooie 3, but we're not actually allowed to call it that. It's Banjo-Kazooie in everything but name. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that.
Oh dear.
And clearly 40,000 people are kind of okay with that. Which, the main thing that this raises out of this is, like, everybody's asking now, why do Rare not make these anymore? Because clearly there's a demand here. There's over £1 million in a day and 40,000 people's worth of support for this kind of game. Why have they not made Banjo 3? Because they totally should have. People would have bought that. I mean, no. Well, I mean, I think we've looked at this in the past, actually. What's Rare doing is like Kinect Adventures and stuff is kind of their most recent, the most recent stuff that they've made. It's nothing terribly exciting or interesting. I'm going to look this up because we can. List of video games developed by Rare. Thank you very much. So in the last 10 years, what they made, Viva Pinata is probably the most noteworthy thing. Diddy Kong Racing DS, more Viva Pinata, the Banjo-Kazooie spin-off that everybody hated, except me. That's probably why they stopped doing Banjo-Kazooie, because everybody hated Nuts and Bolts, actually, in retrospect. Never mind that there are now 1 million clones of that game that aren't remotely as charming on Steam, selling like hotcakes, but hey. So, people are fickle. And then we've got Kinect Sports 2, Kinect Sports Rivals, and Killer Instinct. It's like, where are the games that they used to make? Make Donkey Kong Countries, and make Jet Force Geminis, and make Blast Corps, and Banjo-Kazooie. Make those games. Make more of those, and people will buy them. Just go down the Nintendo route, quite frankly. Just make these games over and over again, and everybody will be happy forever.
And ever.
And ever. Yes. Amen.
Until Half-Life 3.
Well, yes.
It'll happen.
Maybe. At the rapture.
Jesus will bring a copy with him.
Jesus will return, and he will come bearing Half-Life 3 engraved on a tablet.
And the first thing he'll ask is, has Reverse Side been released yet?
Oh, now there's one to do. There's a wager. Which is going to release first, Half-Life 3 or Reverse Side? Nuts to Raven's Cry. Half-Life 3 or Reverse Side?
I'm going to end up with Honey Pop 2 here, aren't I?
Well, if nothing else, you would make many people happy by forcing the release of Half-Life 3. Somehow.
Gabe Newell listens to this and goes, "Get it on, boys!"
Yep. So much as we are loath to encourage people to pledge money towards things that don't even have a fucking demo or any gameplay, really. Actually, to be fair, I never actually watched the video at the start. I don't know if they do have gameplay. I blindly threw my money at that, I'll be honest. Because it's that kind of thing. So the amount of times we've advised caution, in this case, I had no caution. It's only £10 as well, actually, so it's like, I'll go with that, yeah, it's fine. It's a British team as well, so you're supporting British industry, so you should totally do that. And then no, it's not Tim Schafer sitting in his diamond palace in San Francisco, blowing £4 million up the wall.
Then laughing and saying he's going to do a Kickstarter to get it back.
Well, no, what they did is... what they did, as we saw last week, they released half the game and then sold the second half of the game as well. Actually, no, they didn't sell it, did they? So they sold the first half of the game and made the second half of the game off the proceeds from selling the first half of the game. And the second half released last week. But hey, Yooka-Laylee's not even up to that mark yet. They're not up to Tim Schafer standards. He had 4 million to blow up the wall. These guys have only got 1 million.
So far.
So far. Well, the number is literally ticking up as I'm looking at the Kickstarter page, so I think they'll do alright. So there's that. That's... I don't know if you guys have any strong opinions on that particular franchise. All I know is I do that, which is why I wanted to mention it.
It looks like a charming game. I've already backed it as well, so...
Oh, cool. I mean, I'm still intrigued. I mean, A Hat in Time was supposed to be kind of a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie because Rare was refusing to make it, so another indie dev team kind of came up and were like, hey, look, if you guys want a Banjo-Kazooie, we can make a Banjo-Kazooie, but that's still in... I think they're in beta now? Closed beta, so I don't know where it's coming along with that. I'm hoping soon. I am hoping soon. Because I would dearly love to play that. That will probably come out before Yooka-Laylee, I would suspect at this stage. So there's clearly a demand for this kind of thing, which again, Rare, what the hell are you doing? You complete poltroons. Anyway, yeah, if you guys have no strong opinions on Banjo-Kazooie, all I'll say is Banjo-Kazooie is the shit. And I'm totally happy to throw my money at things that want to be Banjo-Kazooie. Ooh, speaking of other things that want to be other things, just as a side note, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I believe there's a game that wants to be Animal Crossing on PC that's releasing on Steam Early Access this week, I believe. Not that it showed up in our release list, but I got an email from them this morning. They were like, hey, we're going to be on Early Access soon. Do you want to play it? And I was like, yes! Get into my veins!
That's quite a strong reaction to a game.
Dude, it's Animal Crossing on PC. That is also very much up there. That's in Banjo-Kazooie territory as far as games go for me. If they do it right, Animal Crossing 1, fantastic. Any of the others, shit. Actually, I will say that the 3DS one looked pretty reasonable, but I don't own a 3DS. The DS and the Wii one. The DS was crap, and the Wii one was just also crap. So yeah, if they make it very, very similar to the first Animal Crossing, I will be a very happy man.
What's the title of this game?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. I can't actually remember what it's called. All I remember was Animal Crossing on PC, and I was just like, yes, make this happen. It was... now I've got a ba-ding popped up in the audio. Sorry, people, you heard a ba-ding.
It's not a Morrison's advert, but still, very unprofessional.
No. Castaway Paradise. It is a pack. They say it is the only life sim on Steam. So, there you go.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently so. Yes. I don't know how valid that claim is. I imagine maybe they've done their research. I feel like there's a lot of games on Steam. You know, there are thousands of games. Really, there are not a single other life sim? That's quite impressive, but okay. Whatever. So that wasn't even news. That's just something that got me really excited this morning. I just checked my email and they were like, hey, we made Animal Crossing. Do you want Animal Crossing? I was like, yes I do. Reverse Side was going to be the news, but you already blew that load particularly earlier.
I was so disappointed. I couldn't. I needed to bear my grief on a cross.
Okay, fair enough. The other news is just kind of remnants of stuff we talked about last week. We talked about PT being pulled and Silent Hills being cancelled and whatnots. One sort of dangling question I had left over from that, which was, if you already downloaded it, what happens? Apparently you get to keep it. That is the state of that. If you at any point downloaded PT before they pulled it from the PlayStation Store, you will forever be able to re-download that if you want to do so.
So you can walk endless corridors of terror.
Yes.
Forever and ever and ever.
Or apparently sell it on eBay, because apparently they're doing the same stupid bollocks that they did with Flappy Bird, which is like, oh, these consoles are super exclusive, they've got a game in it you can't get anymore, so if you want this game you're going to have to pay $1,500 for a PlayStation on the on eBay. I imagine there are probably people out there buying them as well.
Or just watch it on YouTube, because it will be on YouTube forever.
This is true. With complete idiots talking over it, probably. Or maybe some people you like talking over it. Find those ones.
I don't know. I watched Markiplier play it, and that was so hilarious.
Fair enough. He has a broad appeal.
Yes.
I don't know that he will appeal to everybody, but whatever.
I do like him, actually. He's one of my favourites.
I don't watch his stuff, but I like his voice. I would like to own his voice. Yes.
I know.
It's one of those voices where it's like, if I had that voice, I would already be a millionaire on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it works. It's judged solely on voices.
Dude, have you ever checked out, well, with the exception of like PewDiePie, have you ever checked out some of the, a lot of the people who are really fucking huge on YouTube, it's usually just like, yeah, they got a really sexy voice.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't do anything remotely interesting with your games, but you've got a fantastic voice, and I want to listen to you for your voice.
Yeah, pretty much.
So for your birthday, do you want me to get you elocution lessons?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I think a lot of people do just appreciate a British accent anyway, so I think any degree of success I see on YouTube is probably attributable to that in the first instance.
Yes.
I don't have a particularly good or interesting British accent, I just have one, which is enough for some people, apparently.
So you want to talk posh like this, boy?
I can talk rather British old sport if you would like.
Capital, let's play some cricket.
Good lord. Can we have a cup of tea afterwards?
Hey laddie, we can have a cup of tea.
That's not British. Well, I guess Scottish is British, but
it was meant to be Irish.
Was that Irish? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I apologise to Ireland.
Oh, other aside here, talking about voices. I also an email I got today. This is just the Meroka's email segment of the show now.
Where we get to pry into your inbox.
Yes. It was the Guns of Icarus online newsletter, actually, is what it was. And they were like, oh, we're going to go down the TF2 route of doing the Steam Workshop, where people can make content, and we might add the best stuff to the game, and you can make money out of it. And one of the things they said they were going to be doing is adding voice packs. And I really want to do an outrageous British accent voice pack. And I want to get that added to Guns of Icarus Online, and people can buy my outrageous British voice as a voice pack for Guns of Icarus Online. And then I will be a millionaire. Maybe.
Do it. Yeah.
I probably will do that, because that sounds hilarious to me. Yeah. I want that to happen.
I believe in you, John. Get on it.
Okay. So that's I think that's news, isn't it? That's pretty much all of it.
I don't know, have you got any more emails you want to share with us?
Someone just followed me on Twitter, and someone just liked one of my videos. Thank you to... What was their name? I just saw so-and-so favorited your tweet, so it was Verta Mita Muntaja liked my video, so thank you to them.
Bless you.
The names you get on YouTube are fantastic, and I can probably pronounce most of them wrong, but who cares? Let's do gaming releases.
No, gaming releases for the week.
Were you falling down a well when you did that?
He may have tripped, yes.
Okay. Let's find the bit on the page where I didn't scroll to in time, which says May. I'll start with Rust Bucket Rumble, which has no thumbnail, so that's a fantastic start. It is... It doesn't even have a genre. This needs to be googled for any chance of having anything other than just a name for this. What have we got? Oh, it is on Steam, although I didn't spot it on Steam before. It's a side-scrolling team-based arena combat game with robots.
We like robots.
Yeah, that sounds promising.
This is TF2, is it not? It's TF2 with robots, and TF2 already has robots. It has the red team, which actually stands for the Robotic Engineering Division. I would not be entirely... It has not got this far yet in the trailer, but I would not be entirely surprised to see a team that was... maybe had the acronym BLU, maybe? Oh, yeah, there's Bluecom is the other team. Bluecom Discarded Plastics and Metals Recycling Team.
So, you're suspecting there may have been some plagiarism?
It is a team-based red versus blue shooter about robots and recycling. And okay, it's got some weirdly charming concepts, but I suspect it's probably not remotely as engaging as TF2. Like I say, it is a side-scrolling thing, so it's not going to be TF2. They do have sentry guns though. I feel they may have taken a few cues from TF2 here, just a few. So, interesting, I guess. The red acronym thing is a bit... That kind of jumped out at me. It was like, in TF2, red is Reliable Excavation and Demolition, I think. So it's like, oh, it's the red team versus Builders League United, the blue team.
I think the concept of the game is you have to kill your opponents and then gather up the scrap metal.
They turn into scrap metal and then you recycle your enemies.
Yeah.
That's an efficient war.
Yep.
Very.
Anyway, we also have Wolfenstein The Old Blood, which is kind of an expandalone kind of deal for Wolfenstein The New Order. It is a standalone prequel to the aforementioned. It's on PC, Xbox, and PS4. If you wanted more Wolfenstein, there's a chunk more Wolfenstein. And it's, I kind of dig they're doing the kind of expandalone kind of deals, where it's just like, yes, this is a huge chunk more game, but you don't need to own the original to do it. It's like, honestly, with the... was it Saints Row 4 when they did the Gat Out of Hell stuff? I was like, that actually looked really interesting to me. As Saints Row 4 never really kind of looked interesting to me, but then they did the Hell thing, and I was like, I didn't actually buy it, but I was like, I could probably get behind that, actually. And I like that I wouldn't have to buy not GTA 4. So good, they are really confusing, especially when they call it...
have been.
Yeah, I mean, when GTA 5 came out, they released the weapon fight, which was the GAT-V, the GAT-5, on the same day that GTA 5 came out, and it was like, oh yeah, Saints Row 4 has added GAT-V for free to the game. I was like, oh, excuse me, what? I was like, oh, GAT, not GTA. Oh, right. And then they did GAT Out of Hell as well, so there's almost a degree of intentional confusion there, which has definitely tripped me up on a couple of occasions, I feel. So yeah, Saints Row 4 never grabbed me, but the Expandalone did, so I don't know. I suspect they might sell a few of those. Wolfenstein did pretty well anyway.
I enjoyed it.
We have Ether 1, which is a first-person adventure about restoring memories. It sounds distinctly artsy.
Yes.
It looks distinctly artsy.
Yes.
There is one screenshot of which is entirely consumed by a giant red bow.
It's making me feel rather pretentious.
Well, it sounds like the sort of thing I would play.
Ooh, I apologise to you.
I make no. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with the idea that I don't play pretentious things. I know I play I have the worst taste in games. I play stupid shit. I play pretentious shit. But I have no issue with that. That's just what I do. So, yay. That's pretentious, probably. It looks pretentious. Arcade Archive City Connections on the PS4 is dredging up history from 1985. That's, it's got the official Nintendo seal of quality on it. Which is... what? Really? They're releasing old NES games on the PS4. That seems really strange. I mean, I would expect it to show up on the Wii, and by the looks of things it already kind of is on the Wii, but... Didn't know they were going down that route. How bizarre. We have Siberia 2,
Yeah.
which may or may not be the sequel to Siberia 1.
It's a suspicion we've got.
Which is... I've seen this on sale like a bajillion times in bundles and things, but I don't think I ever picked up... Not Siberia 1, that is, so... I don't know. It's a point-and-click adventure game from 2004, so, okay. Wait, Siberia 2 was 2004. Oh, okay. So this is also ancient news. What the shit? What's this being released on? PlayStation 3, okay. It's probably been out on PC for like 11 years now. It's now on PS3. Enjoy it. Cosmophony? I don't know how you pronounce that. It's a musical tube shooter with drum and bass soundtrack. It sounds horrible. The first, I don't object to the first bit, I object to the latter bit. No.
It doesn't sound like the most compelling of games.
The soundtrack doesn't sound like the sort of thing I would want to listen to. We have Chariots, a co-op platformer for all the things, PS4, Bone, PC, Wii U, PlayStation 3. Stars a princess and her fiancé on a mission to transport their deceased king's coffin to its final resting place.
Because normally the prince and the princess are responsible for carrying the coffin of the king.
Yeah, I believe the burden falls entirely on the prince and princess in such a scenario.
To physically carry the coffin themselves.
Oh no, they're not carrying it.
No,
it's got wheels.
Yeah, it's a chariot. The concept of the game is chariots. They're basically riding the coffin, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what's going. I think they've attached wheels to the king's coffin and are riding it through an obstacle course.
This is grim.
The concept is a little bit dark, isn't it? Yeah. It's a really bright, colourful kind of cutesy platformery thing, but then when you consider the actual context, the actual narrative here, that's super dark.
They've got a booth. All right, they've got a booth, and the picture behind them is the princess riding the chariot, really ecstatic. And then the prince behind them is like, "What? What are you doing to my father?"
He's busy fending off foes with a slingshot.
This looks completely bizarre.
But yeah, the princess is delighted to be riding around on a bewheeled coffin containing her father.
Oh dear.
That's dark as shit.
The most cheery game I've ever seen.
Well, that's the thing, the game is super cheery, but the concept, the story is like, what the hell? They are literally riding around over this obstacle course in a box containing their dead father.
What happens What happens if you like crash the chariot? Does the body come out of the coffin?
Oh god! Oh, I hope not. That's just one too far. That really is.
Sorry.
Oh god. We have High Strangeness, which is a 12-bit action-adventure game. It allows players to flip between 8-bit and 16-bit versions of the world on the fly. Which is... I've seen this kind of concept done with other stuff before. I'm not quite sure what this one is, though. I've seen a few others who are like, oh yes, we've got various different sort of... I think Evoland was like the first one that did that, wasn't it? So it was kind of like, oh yeah, as you progress, your character will change from like an 8-bit sprite to a 16-bit sprite, and then there's like, oh, now you've got a 3D character for like a really low-res like N64 game, and then it's like, oh, it's a new one. I have found their Kickstarter as like the top link for it when you search for it. And they've changed it to that new Kickstarter format that doesn't really tell you anything. God damn it. That's not what I wanted to know.
Well, it's on Steam, but it's not giving a whole lot.
To be fair, their Kickstarter page doesn't actually have much on it. It's all text. There's like no pictures. It's... What did they actually raise? Oh, it wasn't a very high... It was only $1,500 Kickstarter for it. That was all the goal was. And they didn't get much more than that. I still can't make out what sort of game it is. Is it like a platformer game? Is that what we're looking at? I don't know. I mean, the Kickstarter page is a lot about people who made the music and the story, and it really still doesn't actually tell you what the game actually is, so God knows.
It's a mystery game.
It is a mystery game. If you want a mystery game, there's one. You don't know what you're buying.
It's like Reverse Side.
Oh, you know what you're buying when you buy Reverse Side. You're buying a ticket into going through the refund process. Project Cars, which is a... I wish I knew more about this one. I keep hearing people talk about it, but I really don't care about racing.
No, me neither, actually.
CARS apparently stands for Community Assisted Racing Simulator. It's a community-funded racing simulator currently under development from Slightly Mad Studios. People who made Need for Speed. And I'm sure there's something really significant about this, because people keep talking about it, and I don't know what it is. Sorry.
It looks nice.
I was going to say, I believe it has been pretty well received. Yeah, it looks good, and it's got like loads of really realistic cars and stuff. If you're into if you're into realistic racing, that's probably something you should be having a look at. I am not into such things. I don't terribly care about it, if I'm honest. But it does look very, 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 very nice, in screenshots, at least. It looks like it would make your computer cry. Unless you have many titans, and they may still cry. I don't know. At any rate, let's look at the Steam games. There are many of them. There are ridiculous numbers of them. There always are, but never mind. We have a jingle?
I know. Steam games.
I think you need to clear your throat before you do that next time.
Yeah, sorry, I needed to cough really badly.
Okay, let's begin with Aspectos Rinascimento Chronicles. I don't know what that's something that apparently came out in 2011. Is it a point and click? It looks It looks either point and click or oh no, it's kind of I think it's a Professor Layton-y kind of deal. It's just lots of puzzles to solve things, lots of weird, quirky, reasonably casual puzzles.
You solve the puzzles.
You do solve the puzzles, yes.
I don't know why
Mario may or may not be in it, yes. It does sound Italian. It's the Rinascimento Chronicles.
Like someone was reading the dictionary and went, oh, that's a big word. Use that.
the Italian dictionary.
This looks even better.
This looks good. I don't know what it means. What it actually means is like, I don't know, testicles or something.
So if you want to play this testicles game.
The Testicle Chronicles. The Italian Testicle Chronicles.
Next game.
Next game. We have also Wolfenstein is also here again. We have Epic Arena.
Oh.
Which is a free to play turn-based strategy game. Which is that's a worrying phrase. I know. I was thinking that sounded like Clash of Clans initially, but no, that's more real-time strategy, isn't it? Seems to involve cards of some sort and moving people around a hex-based grid. And it's free to play, so nothing to stop you checking it out. Check it out. That is my recommendation. There's nothing to stop you, so you should look at it. Yes. We have Apollo 4X. Call me crazy, this might be a 4X game.
What makes you say that?
It involves space and colonizing planets, and to colonizing as many planets as you can possibly can, and it has all the hallmarks of a 4X thing, and also maybe because it has 4X in the bloody name. A turn-based space business tycoon puzzle with card-based tactical combat. Okay, more focusing on the business side of interplanetary domination then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not what I always thought was the most compelling side of things, I'll be honest, but hey, to each their own.
For the Germans, it is.
Yeah, maybe. I was more concerned about building Death Stars, but hey.
That's not the fun part. The fun part is working out how much the Death Stars are going to cost.
Yes, drawing up the budget and finding out how much to hire a construction crew for.
That's a delete scene in episode 3.
We have Virus Jiggling Fever.
Great name.
Which I think looks like somewhere between Dr. Mario and Breakout? I think.
Yeah, I'd say that's very accurate.
It seems to fit the bill. There's lots of viruses that you must destroy, and then there's a guy with a paddle bouncing a ball back and forth to destroy the viruses.
Has anyone tried that with cancer?
Hitting it with balls. Well, maybe. Balls of chemotherapy. That's how you do it. That's literally how that works. They just send a little paddle into your body and it fires balls at the cancer cells.
Science.
Science. All right. We have now we have like over 30 games, all by 3D Realms, or sort of 3D Realms Apogee Software. It's all listed as 3D Realms bracket Apogee Software on here.
I must make a quick admission that when I first saw this list, I thought, is that the name of a game that you put down on the list? Over 30 freaking 3D Realms games. I thought, that's the worst name for a game ever.
It's not a great name, but no, actually this is
actual 30 games released.
I literally mean there are over 30 games. If you go onto them, they've all got exactly the same trailer as well, because 3D Realms are just like, fuck it, we can't be bothered advertising games. They have just emptied their back catalogue from the early 90s onto Steam. So, without further ado, on the 5th of May, releasing on Steam from 3D Realms will be Math Rescue, Monster Bash, Crystal Caves, Death Rally, Hocus Pocus, Major Striker, Dark Ages, Duke Nukem 3D, Alien Carnage, Struck Halloween Harry, Arctic Adventure, Biomenace, Blakestone Aliens of Gold, Blakestone Planet Strike, Mystic Towers, Paganitzu, Monuments of Mars, Realms of Chaos, Pharaoh's Tomb, Secret Agent, Raptor, Call of the Shadows, Rise of the Triad, Word Rescue, Wacky Wheels, Stargunner, Shadow Warrior, Xenophage, Alien Bloodsport, Terminal Velocity, Cosmos Cosmic Adventure, Balls of Steel. I think that's all of them.
I'm sorry, I wasn't. Again.
No. If you want to hear them again, you can go back and listen to the video again. So, let's move on.
Okay.
If you had any craving to play old 3D Realms games, most of which sound bloody awful, they're all going to be on Steam on the 5th of May. Go buy them or something. The Travels of Marco Polo, which sounds very much Hidden Object or possibly Professor Layton, one of the two. I'm seeing puzzles that involve blocks and cogs. I think it's Professor Layton stuff. That kind of thing. There's a lot of that going around. Sorry?
Getting around that Professor Layton.
Well, he's inspired a lot of imitators, let's put it that way. We have the Music Machine, which also looks artsy as fuck.
Really does.
It's all monochrome, but different colours of monochrome. A teenage girl and a vindictive ghost that's possessing her deal with the cosmic mysteries and interpersonal struggles in a character-driven, narrative-focused horror adventure.
I'm sure this was a 90s TV show.
I was going to say, to be fair, they had me up to horror adventure. At that point, I'm like, god damn it.
You ruined it.
You ruined it! This could have been some really stupid artsy project that I would have been like, oh my god, this is the best game ever, and put on my hipster glasses. But no, it had to be horror, so fuck those guys.
When you read Ventured Horror, you dropped your crap beer, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Let's move on. We have... Where were we? We have High Strangeness we already took a look at.
Cars again.
Sym? S-Y-M? Seam? Is that what that is? Seam.
Will's got the pronunciation down.
Yeah. There's a puzzle platformer that explores social anxiety disorder. Josh, a teenage boy, trying to reconcile a maze of two contrasting worlds that coexist within the blank spaces of each other. Which means it's all silhouette-y. It's all in black and white.
So it's Slender again.
Yeah, somewhere between Slender and, like, maybe Limbo.
Oh god, Limbo.
It's got too much white to be Limbo.
I suppose this is true, yes. But you can invert things and then make it all black. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It looks puzzle platformer with the usual lots of spikes and brutal things everywhere. It looks like there'll be a lot of things that will kill you. And you play as what does appear to be Slender Man, to be quite honest. I don't think it's the sort of thing I would take a look at, but hey. Never mind. We have Not a Hero. You are breaking up a little, Michael. I don't know don't know if it's your internet or mine.
I think it might be mine.
Alright. Not a Hero is about... someone linked me to this not so long ago, actually. I do recall this. It's actually releasing on British Election Day, and it is about an election, actually. Evil Bunny Lord wants to be elected, and you must go and clean up the town on his behalf by going and fighting crime or something, I think.
He sounds like a better candidate than the rest of them.
Well, yeah, possibly. Well, we don't have many good options, so I would vote. I would vote for Bunny Lord. Definitely, if that was an option. He's pretty badass. I also believe that after Peter Molyneux stuffed up Goddess, these guys actually stepped in to actually deliver a reward to the guy who won Curiosity, What's in the Cube. So that guy is now a character in this game, I do believe. Because he didn't get to rule Goddess like Peter Molyneux said he would be able to. So he's in there. What else we got? We have Decisive Campaigns Case Blue, sorry. Which is simulating the German drive to Stalingrad and the Caucasus of the summer of 1942, as well as its May preludes, the second Kharkov offensive, Operation Trappenjagd, and also the Soviet winter counteroffensive, Operation Uranus, that ended with the encirclement of the 6th something. It trails off there.
Yeah.
How many people stayed awake?
I was going to say, it sounds very dry. It sounds really dry. Oh god. This is for people who really like their history.
I have a history degree and even I found that boring.
This is by Slytherin Limited. We've looked at them before. They only do, like, everything Slytherin has ever published has literally just been, like, really dry, super accurate historical stuff. If you're like the most into history, but check out that publisher. What else we got? We have I have Ashes of Immortality on my list, but it actually just says May 2015. It doesn't actually have a date on it, so. But then when I click on it, it says March 2012, so Christ only knows. Vampires vs. Werewolves vs. Hunters. Yeah, Vampires vs. Werewolves vs. Hunters. Guess which group you're playing with? Don't know. We're talking about Immortality. I presume vampires? I don't know.
Oh no. Sorry, is it Vampires vs. Werewolf Hunters?
It is Vampires vs. Werewolves vs. Hunters, and it just says, guess which group you're playing with. And it's like, I actually don't know. All of those sound perfectly reasonable. And it also looks like it's an RPG Maker title.
Yeah, it does, yes.
There are stock barrels, called it. Yes. Finding the stock textures. It's my job these days, finding stock textures in RPG Maker titles. There we go. We have Rat Venture Challenge. That sounds really, really awful. Mostly it's got too many connotations of bad rats, if anything.
It's World of Goo.
Oh my god, it literally is. Holy shitballs. That is literally a
I'm
World
so
of Goo.
amazed by that.
That is literally a World of Goo clone.
So, if you liked World of Goo,
Holy fuck, that is, yeah, that's like not even. I mean, stylistically it's different, but honestly, that's really not even subtle.
No.
mind blown.
That is just World of Goo. What the fuck?
Wasn't that long ago there was another World of Goo that we looked at, was it?
I don't remember that one actually, but
it's only a few weeks ago that we looked at another one that was similar.
Oh, I have the memory of a goldfish. We have Terraform. Is a relaxing turn-based puzzle game set in the future, which involves changing hexagonal tiles in a grid to be different types of things.
Huh.
And I guess the world reacts depending on what you place and stuff? I don't know. What the hell is this? It's a bizarre kind of thing. I'm going to say I'm at least a little bit curious, actually. I don't know if it looks compelling or not, but I'm at least kind of curious as to what's going on there. You're sort of changing a hex-based grid into different types of terrain, and then I guess different types of terrain have different effects on other ones by what they neighbour and stuff, I suppose. And then weather has effects on things, there's weather effects, and yeah. Intriguing. The Last Word. Oh, I've heard of this somewhere. I can't remember where I've heard of this. This is, in a society where having the last word means having power over others, a small party is disrupted by a gentleman who politely issues orders via a one-way intercom. So
That's not really selling me.
it's oh god, it describes it as a JRPG. I didn't realize it was a JRPG. So yeah, it's battle sophisticated guests using words as weapons, and yeah, as it says, like if you can get the last word in, you have power over them or something. I don't know. It sounds interesting, but I don't know what to make of that. It was probably made in RPG Maker, but it's not stock textures. I will give it that much. I'm not seeing any that are. No. We have... I'm sure we already looked at this. The Reject Demon Toko Chapter 0 Prelude. I guess that turned into a bit... Yes, this is a visual novel about metal, or at least rock, anyway. Did sound interesting, but I guess it's doing a bit of a reverse side on us, maybe?
Hopefully not that bad.
Well, hopefully not. We have... B-Swing? Oh god, I've seen Jesse Cox play this one, actually, which is... The entire thing is drawn in like a weird crayon kind of... Actually, it's not. It's done in a million different art styles. It's like every different section is done in like different art styles. Some in watercolor, some are like crayons, some of them are... There's just all sorts of weird stuff going on. It's a very fucking surreal kind of thing. And I like surreal, but that was just really fun weird. If you want weird in the highest B-Swing, have a look at that. The only tag that they could put for it is indie. That's the only thing it could be defined as.
Says kind of a lot, really.
It does say a lot about it, I think, yes. Now we have Mainland. It's a text adventure about a traveller of 19th century. So, that's helpful and useful. I suspect this is kind of a Twine thing. Would not surprise me to find that out. I mean, Twine is where most of your text adventures go. If you like your text adventures... have one. It does say free to play, so you can probably have a read if you want to read a thing. Selfie, Sisters of the Amniotic Lens.
This already sounds terrible in the description.
Where have I heard this? I'm sure I've heard of this somewhere before. I feel like we did a game in the releases a while back that was the sequel to this. But apparently this isn't out yet? Or what? I don't know. It is described as massively multiplayer.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works, no. I don't even know what this is.
No.
It's another one of those really arty, surreally, trippy kind of things that's all sorts of weird shit going on. It's 1980X, and you wake up in a bad situation. You were the Sisters of the Amniotic Lens. It's time to face up what you did all those years ago, and then there's like all sorts of weird different styles and gameplays and all sorts of things. And apparently it's massively multiplayer somehow. What? It describes itself as a story-driven non-game with space exploration elements dealing with the dangers of the radicalization of the vulnerable.
Okie dokie.
You can engage with other people's deepest and darkest pleas in deep and meaningful retro-future play-by-mail MMO/social network.
Okie dokie.
There is the most advanced fly AI of all time, utilizing not only their random state but stable route calculating sense of smell.
Okie dokie.
I'm not even going on. That's fucking weird. Oh, man. And that kind of brings us to the end of the week, I guess. There is a game we looked at, but it is early. Let's talk about Shrooms because it's so fucking weird. There's also an early access game called Shrooms. It's apparently about mutating via mushrooms and changing forms and stuff. It sounds like it sounds like a survival, one of those open world survival-y kind of things, but all the characters depicted in the screenshots are just women running around in their underwear, and some of them have various fungal kind of things growing off of them. And yeah, I guess the mushrooms change your powers and abilities and things, and it's like, okay, I can dig the concept of the sort of explore, adapt, change, mushrooms grow weird thing, but why is every character just a woman running around in her underwear?
The only way they could get people to buy the game?
I think you've nailed it on. You hit the nail on the head. Actually, yeah, that's probably exactly it. Yes.
Nice quote of the year. Mr. William.
Okay, now Michael sounds like a robot, so this is going to be an interesting outro.
Let's see if my internet can hold this up.
All right, do it. Make it so. Oh, wrong franchise. Sorry.
May the force be with you.
That sounds really interesting with your robot voice, actually.
How bad is it?
Not bad enough that we can't hear you, but it's almost like you're kind of slowed down a bit and sounds like you are a robot. You sound like Marvin the Paranoid Android.
There's worse things to sound like, I suppose.
All right, take us out of this slowly in your robot ways.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the Bottom Mash podcast. We truly do appreciate it. If you would like to leave us a comment or you've got anything you want to say to us about the podcast, maybe you want to mock my voice, feel free. But yep, comment down in the videos. If you want to find out more about Bottom Mash, you can follow us at Facebook at
facebook.com/buttonmash.
You can find us on Twitter at
twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
You can find our presence at Steam at
bit.ly/bmsteam.
Check out our website at
button-mash.net.
And I can't see why you'd want to after he's mocked my voice, but if you wanted to pay John to play video games, you can find his Patreon series at
patreon.com/buttonmash.
On a final note, if you want to do something particularly fun and memorable on the 30th of May, I don't know, maybe Eurovision's on that day, maybe we've got to contend with that, but if you want
Is it actually?
It's this month, I don't know the date.
Oh god, oh shit, really? I don't think it's too much of a contest, but I know, oh god, really. I feel like we've done that before as well, haven't we?
We have.
We've run our event on the exact same day as Eurovision.
Graham Norton stealing our custom.
No, it's on the 23rd. It's the week we're the week after Eurovision.
Alright, now everyone's lost their excuse, so they have to come to our event.
You have no prior engagements. You don't need to go to Eurovision.
On the 30th of May at the New Bradford Playhouse, we'll be holding Button Mash 11, I believe it is.
Yes, Button Mash 11. Button Mash XI, because Roman numerals, yo. It works for Final Fantasy.
3 p.m. till late. We'll have retro video gaming, we'll have the Rock Band Room, we'll have the Mastronaut Tournament, we might have a bit of joust. Please feel free to come down and check us out. If you want to find out more information about that, if you go to Facebook, you'll be able to find our event page if you follow our main page.
It'll be there, we'll be talking about it, we'll be promoting that like hell.
You might see us around Bradford at some point.
Yes, probably.
So, thank you very much for listening to the Button Mash podcast. We do appreciate it. On behalf of myself and on behalf of John.
Thank you.
On behalf of Will.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with you next week.
Bye.
Cheery bye.